Welcome to Athena in Truth's YouTube channel, where we provide tips and insights for you to live your best life. I am your host, Heidi Fralick. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since we've done a YouTube recording. Robin and I have been very busy with Q&A recordings and courses, and we wanted to get back on YouTube, and we finally had the time today to do it. So we miss everyone. We hope you've missed us. And today we're going to do a recording on, can desires cause suffering? Hi, Robin.
Hi, Heidi.
All right, so let's jump right in. What can one do if they feel that their own insecurities or self-worth issues are causing more of what isn't wanted and suffering?
Well, we've made some recordings, and Robin will laugh a little about it. And we would tell you that you do what you do till you don't anymore. Yeah. And a human that is trying to force themselves to feel a certain way or to become something that they have not quite achieved or are ready to become actually gets them stuck or reproduces more of what they're not wanting, you see. And so it's just to really understand that you can't get somewhere, you can't get to point A, get to point B from point A, and you have to make that shift before you're able to do that. It's not something that you can just command in yourself and then make yourself do it. You have to actually start feeling differently, and then that feeling will be what will propel you out of the place that you're stuck in. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what type of clarity that this question is wanting to bring? We're a little bit confused at what direction to go.
Sure. So I'll use a personal experience. So, and Robin and I use it often, pickleball. There's good days and there's bad days. And sometimes if I have a bad day or my husband criticizes something I've done, my own triggers of insecurities and self-worth just immediately flush forward. And I start to think, well, there must be some reason that you're doing this wrong, and it's like, and then I'm pretty soon I'm flooded with so many negative thoughts about myself that I can't even focus to perform well. And I feel like that is causing suffering because I can't rid myself of those thoughts.
Well, what's causing the suffering, though, in fact, is the energy entrapment, and it wants to be expressed or realized. Yeah, that's why you are suffering. And so what's the human doing? It's not really negative. It's trying to align with its source. It's letting you know that you don't like what's happening, and this is the reason it's happening. You hold these beliefs, you have these weaknesses or these feelings inside of yourself that are a match to this one coming forward and perhaps insulting you. And then you're not getting that piece of mail. You're not really acknowledging that you're holding something, an entrapment in your energy center that's actually causing the experience. So people look at the experience as the cause, but it's really the emotion that has drew the experience to them that is the cause of suffering, you see.
Sure. So my thing I should be doing is I acknowledge the feeling.
Yes.
And I realize it's an entrapment within me. And I think in our course, we did a lot with feeling where it is in the body, right? So feeling where we're feeling it, which energy centers align to it. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So let's use you for a guinea pig as long as you have volunteered. Yeah.
Sure.
In fact, when you feel that energy entrapment, as you ask your human, and the human really wants to assist its divine counterpart, when it's asked a question, it will go get the answer for you. Where, in fact, do you think you might have an entrapped energy form or thought that feels like I'm not good enough, I lack a little bit of worthiness, I feel a little bit not confident? Where in your body would you say that might be located?
Well, I'm going to say a combo of heart, belly.
Yes, yeah, heart and belly. And so if you were to look in these areas of your body, in the upper back area, in the stomach area, do you have any other indications of not feeling so good there once in a while?
Well, as a matter of fact, the last week or two, I've had a pretty bad pain in my upper back. I woke up with it and it's been kind of plaguing me for about a week and a half. Yeah.
So this is what the energy entrapment will do. It's just trying to assist the human in getting your attention, that as you hold this negativity in this energy center, you're actually denying the divine flow of experiences that could come to you in your love life, in your active life, maybe your pickleball life or other things. And the same would go into the solar plexus area, would be the same thing. And so the reason you're getting the pain isn't because you deserve it. It's because the human, you haven't recognized it from the experiences that have been mirrored to you. So now it's drawing a little more attention by applying some pain there, hoping that, oh, now you're really getting uncomfortable here. Are you going to now sense or know that something is being held, or a denying of energy to this energy center? Do you understand?
I do. Yes.
And then if a human keeps ignoring and keeps ignoring, it gets stronger. Yeah. Perhaps the body even starts to hump over a little bit. It starts to actually carry the weight of the world. You've seen people, they start to bend a little bit in their posture. And so things can just kind of start to keep progressing and piling up on top of this affliction until you'll actually notice it or not be able to tolerate it so much anymore, you see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it interesting that you mentioned that, because I was feeling pretty frazzled and almost too much busyness in my life the last week or so, with just some extra stuff going on.
Yeah.
And when I finally got to yesterday and I had a little time, I hadn't meditated in a long time, and I just felt this yearning to do it. Like I felt like my body needed to be reset and recentered. And after taking the time to meditate yesterday, my body is feeling a little bit more balanced, and the pain in the back area is a little less, and so I do think that people need to take that time to pay attention. Yeah.
But once again, you are putting a little bit of a Band-Aid on a problem that is needing a draining and an incision. It's kind of a minor adjustment that you are making in a major impact. And so what your body is really calling for, what Heidi is really calling for, is for someone else to step forward and remove some of the burden or responsibility that is on your back, and put some on their own plates that belong to them, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this would be one of the things that we would highly recommend for you and for others that are having this problem, especially in the upper back, shoulders, postural type thing, is to recognize that when you start to carry too much of another's experience, you begin to weigh yourself down or start to have problems. Let's use that term. And we know that a human trying to be a good person or trying to serve people in the way that they're used to being served compels a human to push through the pain and to keep going in that direction. But we would highly recommend to you that you really look at the other option, where you can start to open up and allow others to serve you rather than you being the only one that's serving them.
Okay. All right. Good advice. All right. So does desire really always create suffering? And again, I'm going to use the example of pickleball, because when I am playing well and having a good time, I don't mind a loss. Sometimes I don't have to feel like I need to win. It brings a lot of joy and pleasure to my life. I think the suffering only comes when one of my wounds, like I described before, the self-worth or the insecurity, gets tagged.
It's the energy
that's when
that's causing the suffering.
Right. So that's my question is, does desire really have to cause suffering? And I believe the answer would be no, if we weren't entangled somewhere.
Absolutely, because you would get the desired result that you're wanting if you didn't have the energy entrapment, you see.
Yes, right. Yeah. So it is then, in your opinion, okay to have desires and not necessarily have suffering if we clear ourselves.
Absolutely. We feel that it's a false teaching that humans have adopted, that somehow they are going to be able to train themselves into not wanting anything or desiring to become more, you see. Look at your universe. Are you ever seeing it stopping expanding? Are you ever seeing it fully satisfied? This is the divine in action. It's always growing. It's always becoming more. It's always excited about expansion. You're no different. You're never going to be satisfied doing nothing, in fact, and not expanding. And so there's nothing wrong with having a desire. And we're not telling you that perhaps as your consciousness expands, the desires that you have or hold might be different, but they would still be ones that are satisfying to you. They're going to be ones that you're calling for or that you're wanting in your experience. So we think the idea of denying desire or thinking that you're no longer going to have them and therefore not experience negativity would just not be true. You see, there's never going to be anyone out there that's drawing a breath or experiencing something that maybe isn't going to like a sunny day better than a rainy day, that maybe isn't going to like the colorful trees as opposed to having no trees. It could be many different things that a human observes in their experience that they have a preference because of it. And in fact, it's not the preference that's the problem, because the minute that you have observed something, the divine part of you has culminated that experience and has become it and wants to deliver those like matching feeling things to you. And in fact, the only reason that you're not feeling good about the desire is you haven't gotten it. And you haven't gotten it because you have an energy entrapment. So it's not about the desire. It's about what you're holding that's contrary to it that's causing you to suffer.
All right. All right. So what can be done if we have a desire that's at the expense of someone else's desire?
That would be that you think that someone else somehow is creating in your experience, or you have to let them to create in your experience in order to have a good one. And we would tell you the universe has got you. It's got all of you. And even if you might want something that your partner isn't wanting, believe me, it can create an experience that'll be satisfying to both of you. Yeah, it's what it's going to do. And it's the idea that you as a human think you're creating the experience. You're not the one doing it. The universe is doing it, and it knows exactly how to satisfy you in the relationship that you're in. So even if you had a partner that wasn't desiring what you want, there might be another experience that's culminated that's very satisfying to you and to your partner as well, you see. So we would tell you to stop worrying about all those little things and complications, because they just don't exist. The universe has the ability to culminate the perfect experience that will fit into your life, and that includes the partner that you're with.
All right. Okay. So are desires necessary for us to evolve and transition ourselves through our wounds?
Yes, to some degree, because as you have a desire, as you have a preference, that's what you're here for. We've told you that over and over again. You experience, and then there's something you want by the experience you had. And so if you are not getting that experience, then you are having revealed to you a belief or a perception that you're holding that's actually preventing the experience from naturally coming to you because it's already been formed the minute that you've had it. So we hope that's an answer to your question. Yes, absolutely. You want to heal those wounds, because then you would live in complete ecstasy and fulfillment. You would absolutely create the existence that feels so wonderful to you, that feels so like heaven on earth to you. And it would come because you have released those energy entrapments, and you've actually gotten your birthright or the divine flow into you that would bring you absolutely every satisfying experience that you're wanting to have while you're here.
Sure. So I guess I would word this next question a couple ways. I would say, is there a person that exists, or is there the possibility that if one was free of their wounds and completely satisfied, that they would be in a place where they would want for nothing and that they would desire nothing? Could they be content with the self as it is, minus wounds?
Yes, you would. You would feel content whether the experience came or didn't come, but you would love it, enjoy it either way, you see. And so you may hold a desire that perhaps someday you would like to live on a nice clear water lake, and maybe you can see no way that you could do that. But you would be so happy, so joyful in just the desire itself. You'd be so happy and so joyful in just wanting to experience. And that itself would create alignment for you. But then what happens is, in that alignment, those experiences just come. They're very automatic. They just show up. The human gets exactly what it is that is called for or desired. Let's use that term. And so is it that it no longer matters? Or in some sense, it's a non-issue, because the human comes into such an alignment that it automatically manifests beautiful, wonderful, good feeling experiences, and it no longer is even looking for them. They are just, it's just an automatic connection where that is what is. That is part of the divine expression or the way that one lives. I hope we are explaining this to you clearly, Heidi, so that it can be understood. It's not a matter of getting rid of desire. It's desire just becoming the reality of that you live in, you see.
Okay.
Does that make
All
sense?
right.
You
It
understand?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, so sometimes when people have desires, um, it's difficult to focus on what they want. So maybe they're putting some attention on, well, I don't want this, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use an example right now, hopefully he won't mind, of my son, where he wants a relationship, but he tends to overthink all the time, and he devotes a lot of his energy to what ifs and future problems and things like that. So my question is, what about someone who does that? Do they miss their desires because they're focused always on if there's going to be a potential problem? Or is their intuition notifying them with that information? And that's maybe why the overthinking is occurring.
Well, in fact, you would not have the experience that you're not wanting to have had you not created it. So it's not really about intuition, because you would be getting, he would have it revealed to him in his experience if he were in alignment to it, you see. In this example, in particular, what happens is a human will experience the lack of something in an area that's very important to them, but they will be holding the same type of energetic emission in other areas of their life. And for this one, we would say, oftentimes he's looking for problems in all other areas, in politics, in others, in the way that they move in the world, in the way that they act or interact. Let's use that term. He's very hyper aware or hypersensitive of annoyances or things that are being done that are not in alignment with the way that he would like them to be done. Let's use that term. And so then as he views the world through this lens, then the area that he really wants something in will be the one that he will be reflected that it's not there in, because it would be the most potentiality of it being discovered within himself, that he's holding a little bit of this view of negativism. Yeah, a little bit of a view of the world. We are looking for a term to put it in softly. Yeah, but a little bit, rather than expecting the worst, that he would start expecting the best. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if he were to be honest with himself and he were to look in other areas of his life, aside from just relationshiply, yeah, he would notice that there's a high level of annoyance or difference in the way that others move in their worlds, or the way that they create. Let's use that term. And so what we are trying to say clearly is, he's a little bit opposing of others, a little bit of opposement of things that he would deem as should be opposed. And we're always going to say, we're not saying he's wrong in his observation. We're not saying that there are things that he's viewing that are actually annoying, or that people would wish weren't being done. Let's say that. But we are going to say that as he allows his focus to go to this, then the universe uses that opportunity of him being opposing of things, yeah, to actually mirror it back to him in an area of his life where he actually doesn't want it opposed, or would like to receive what it is he is wanting. Does that make sense to you?
It does. So basically, so we can help the audience, how they need to remove their opinions or judgments on these areas in their life that they're very
Never
triggered or
remove. We don't like that word, yeah, because we're
okay.
denying the experience. It's for him
Yeah.
to know, here I am. Yeah, I'm a very observant person. Yeah, I notice right away when someone is moving in a way that I don't like or isn't right. Let's use that term. That's just the way I am. That's my life experience. I'm not going to make myself wrong for it. In fact, I love myself for having that feeling, and I know who I am. I know that by the life experience I had, that perhaps I viewed people doing things that were annoying, and therefore I have a very low tolerance for annoying people, you see. So it's just to really understand your life experience, to accept it, to love it out of yourself, to allow yourself the way that you feel. And this will automatically relax that control center, or that energy center that's actually preventing you from getting the real enriching relationships in your life that you would like to have, you see.
Okay. Do you have any final thoughts, comments, anything you'd like to talk to people about having to do with desires and suffering?
Yeah. Well, once again, we just want to make the mental note that desire isn't the cause of suffering. Energy entrapments that are presenting the desire from arriving are the cause of suffering. Yeah. And so once you remove these energetic traps out of your chakras or your energetic field, then your life would just flow. The natural experiences that are very rewarding to you and satisfying would come. And when you say that a human no longer wants for anything, well, they no longer want for anything because they have everything that they love, you see, exactly the way that they want it, and they don't need to desire anymore. The life itself just reveals to them the feeling that they want to have in all the experiences that they're having, you see.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll hope to be back in not too long of a time frame with another YouTube for you.
Good day, Heidi.
Thanks, Robin. Thank you.